Welcome to Double Drivel, an NBA podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of Double Drivel. We are a weekly podcast offering a fan's perspective on the news and issues surrounding the NBA. Thank you for joining us. My name is Greg and I am joined as always by my co-host JT. You can find us on Twitter at Double Dribblers or email us at doubledrivelpodcast@gmail.com. JT, what up, my friend?
Cold for California, Greg. It's like 40 degrees out here.
That's crazy. We had one day this week that was 75 degrees, and the next day it was 33 degrees, and it was snowing.
The fuck? That ain't right.
So, no, that's insane.
Yeah, I'm good. Things are good. Otherwise, it's a little chilly on the West Coast, but All-Star Weekend was pretty good. So I'd like to talk to you about it.
Yeah, you could have had a nice little transition there. Like, the weather was cool, but the NBA All-Star Weekend was hot, hot, hot.
That's me. Killing the transition.
All right. So, yeah, did you end up getting a chance to watch it? I know your weekends are full, and you will see a lot of recaps. Did you get a chance to catch any of it live?
No, I didn't.
So I'm going to tell you, that's probably better because it's all about the clips and the moments anyway. The whole event itself is just a long, drawn-out, just bad setup. It's just awful. When they come out with the trophies, they always have some person from the company, like if it's a State Farm three-point shootout, they have like Chuck from State Farm standing there with the trophy, and they hand it to the player. Other years, they've had that person talk awkwardly and say, "Oh, from State Farm, we say thank you." And it's awful. It's just awful. I wish that they would just cut to the chase, keep it really tight with just the action. Or, since it's a TV show, it doesn't really need to be live. Why don't they just do it, cut it up real quick, and show it like an hour or two after it actually happens and just give us the highlights and the stuff that matters? Because it's just inane drivel from the announcers, and it's just awful. But the action was pretty good. The three-point shootout was okay, and the dunk contest was, I think, better than it's been in years. And I know you think it was really good because your boy won.
He won. I predicted he won, and he made it so. He was incredible. Bless his heart.
I think he really won it, too. I don't want to hear any of this bullshit like it was close or... No, he won that shit. He was dunking like a mother.
All right, so you want to talk dunk contest. It was, I thought, from the clips I saw, like you said, I didn't see it live, but it was a good one. It was a very good one. Donovan Mitchell of the Utah Jazz, crowned dunk contest champion 2018. It sure feels good to have a trophy coming back to Utah. Some of his competitors, Greg, really showed up and had some killer dunks too, though. And
absolutely,
the one that I was really over the fucking moon about that didn't take place during the competition. Did you see the clip of the dunk that Victor Oladipo was going to use for had he advanced? Did you see that?
I did not.
It was sick, and it was like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I've been waiting for. And some people are shitting on it because they're saying it was a tip-in, but they can suck a dick. So he ran up, 360, tosses it off of the glass with one hand, Greg, as he's like going through the 360. So toss it up. As he's recovering from the 360, he catches it with the other hand and dunks it. And it was sick. But he didn't get a chance to do it. He didn't get that far in the competition. But respect to Victor Oladipo, who's having just a fucking shoot 'em up year and really showing up for the dunk contest as well. So check it out. If you haven't seen that Victor Oladipo second round dunk that he didn't get a chance to use, you got to check it out.
Yeah, everybody did pretty well though, so it was a good dunk contest. It was definitely worth watching.
A lot of homage dunk Gregs. You know, there was the
nostalgia's huge right now.
Very big. The Larry Nance Jr. did the, I don't even know what you call that dunk. Michael Jordan also did this dunk in one competition. It's a one-handed dunk. You kind of curl the ball with one hand, and you go up a little, and you kind of do a windmill on the side, and you dunk the ball going backwards on the windmill.
Yeah, it's like a sideways reverse forearm windmill.
Yeah, I like that dunk. And his dad had done the same one, so he also did that one. It didn't score very high, but I thought it was great. On the same note of the homage dunks, we saw Donovan Mitchell wearing several throwback jerseys. He wore Daryl Griffith's jersey.
Throwback jerseys.
He wore a Vince Carter jersey. Not even keeping it in the organization, just spreading love around. Just showing you what kind of great kid this Donovan Mitchell is. Just has respect for the people that came before him. He's always smiling. He never has anything negative to say. It's just fantastic. Love this kid.
He brought out Kevin Hart and his little sister, and his little sister was taller than Kevin Hart, which was pretty funny.
All right, you said the word. Let's talk about Kevin Hart.
So hold on 1 second, because I was going to say, let's wrap everything up that we have to do, because once we get to the game, the intro is more of anything than the game. So is there anything else we have left to talk about? The skills competition? Is this something you would watch? Like, if you had the option to, would you watch it that night if it was on live and I could just like put a TV right in front of your face? Would you watch it?
Yeah, in those circumstances, I would. I don't think I'd seek it out, but if I saw them throwing the balls through the tires and stuff, I would pause if this was like, the late 90s and I had my remote control and I'm flipping through the channels, and yeah, I would stop.
It always comes down to the 3-pointer. Every time.
So who won?
Your boy Spencer Dimwittle? Dimwitty?
Spencer of the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a guy who was playing well early in the season. I remember seeing his name a lot, especially because, being in the New York area, you see him on the local news and stuff in the highlights when the Nets did actually win games on occasion. But good for him going after it. Somebody's got to win it, and I don't feel like that was the most glamorous outcome for the NBA, but good for him.
Congratulations to Spencer Dinwiddie, who participated in this competition, and everyone has to have a winner of some kind. Spencer Dinwiddie, Greg, he looks like he's in disguise to me.
Yeah, I like this.
He looks like he's 40.
Yeah.
He also looks like he is fucking Denzel Washington's character from He Got Game, Jake Shuttlesworth. He looks just fucking like him. Tell me he doesn't look just like him.
No, he does. Oh my God. The second you said that, I can see it in my head. Oh my God. That's really funny.
We're gonna put side by side pictures up on the Twitter for everyone to see. You tell me one of these guys doesn't commit a crime, you're gonna pick the other one out of a lineup. Tell me that.
That's great. All right. And the 3-point contest, not as good as normally. Usually somebody gets really hot, or a couple guys get really hot and hit a lot of shots or whatever. And only one person did. And, one of your favorites, Devin Booker, was the winner. So.
All right. If Spencer Dinwiddie looks like Jake Shuttlesworth.
Yep.
Devin Booker, spit an image for Ellen DeGeneres. Am I wrong?
If you put dark hair on Ellen, we'd probably be talking.
Can we craft this up, Greg? Can we Photoshop this? Do you and I have the skills to put dark hair on Ellen to make her look just like Devin Booker?
Oh yeah, I'll do a little side by side thing. We'll get those up on Twitter. Absolutely.
Right. We got a couple things we're going to cook up for the Twitter, and I like it.
There you go. A little side-by-side action. And, so let's get to the game now. I think that's what we were really dying for here.
Yep.
So I turned it on a couple minutes late. I wasn't paying attention, I don't know if it came on 8, 9, whatever time it was, but I think I turned it on about 5 minutes after. So I didn't see how this, I don't want to call it a skit, because Rob Riggle was there and Kevin Hart was there, and it was like, I don't even know what the theme was, but the TV was on for 2 seconds and I could tell it was one of the most awkward things that I was going to watch in a long time. It wasn't playing out well. The crowd wasn't understanding it. I mean, me as a viewer, I wasn't understanding. It was almost like a ghost of Christmas past, present, and future, but of like basketball past, present, and future, but like with Kevin Hart. And I don't think it worked. I think it was horrible. And that guy, the NBA needs to find another person or another couple people to link up with, because he cannot do everything every year. The guy was a prop at the dunk contest. The guy was on the air at the celebrity game. He's on at the All-Star game. Like, it's too much. I don't need this much Kevin Hart. Nobody does.
And he's at the fucking Super Bowl, too. I seen him on all the Super Bowl shit.
The best thing was that he talked about that because he was on with the guys from TNT. And they were talking about the video of him trying to push himself past the giant security guard. And that guy looking at him like, are you kidding me? And he said on the air that that was probably the best thing that happened to him, because if he had gotten on the stage, it would have been a disaster and he would have destroyed his career. So he said thank you to that giant security guy for not letting him on the stage.
Oh, well, I didn't hear that. That's pretty good. I like the humility. I like when they
a little self-awareness
you know.
there, because he knew. He was like, I had way too much to drink, way too much, and good thing I didn't get up there.
Imagine you're at that level, Greg, where your regret the next morning is that you didn't get on the stage for the Super Bowl after the game. Like you're that high on the mountain, right? It's like, oh, thank God I didn't do that thing. Where for me, it's like, thank God I didn't fucking like have another drink and like make an ass out of myself at a local pub. This guy, at least I didn't fucking like get on stage after the goddamn Super Bowl and ruin my career. So
for real, at least I can still work in this town after my behavior last night. Thank you, God.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Hart.
And then it got better.
Oh, please.
Oh, yeah, because Kevin Hart insulted all the players on the intro.
Yeah,
I mean, call it a roast, I mean, it was like some of them it was pretty roasty. I mean, he really, went at some of the guys, and that was kind of funny. So I enjoyed that, but people on the internet didn't enjoy that, because people on the internet don't enjoy anything. And then it got to the national anthems.
Oh, the anthem.
Which I had forgotten there was even a problem with the Canadian one, and I tried to pay attention because I knew they had just recently changed the lyrics to be gender neutral. So I was wondering if I could pay attention to where they were going to, pop those parts in. And I couldn't really. It's Oh Canada, and it's just I can't get through it. I just can't pay enough attention. So they went through that, and it seemed like that went through without a hitch. And then Fergie walked out. Now, Fergie walked out. The first thing I said was, damn, Fergie looks good. I'm going on record saying that right now. Fergie looked like a fucking $1,000,000 when she came walking out. That dress could not have been tighter. That shit was on point. But then she opened her mouth. I looked over at my son and I said, oh my God, this is what is going on here? And she gets through the whole song. And she finally finishes, and like they're cutting to like the players, and they're like laughing, and Draymond made that face like, God damn. And they cut back to the guys at the studio at TNT, and Barkley immediately says, damn, I need a cigarette. Like, and I'm like, that's what I'm thinking, Chuck. That shit was just, the national anthem's not sexy. There's no provocative moments in the national anthem. That's not the right tone. That's not the right anything. Just very strange. Very strange selection of, I guess, I'm not even sure what you call it, to change it up that way, and just to change the speed and the vibe of the national anthem like that. Very strange.
So, not my favorite rendition that I've ever heard, but not the worst one I've ever heard either. And tell me this. She goes out there, she sings it regular. People aren't going to be happy, you know. She goes out there, you put a little sauce on it, sex it up, maybe you get a little bit
She
more
sexed
play.
it up.
I don't fault her for giving it a go. You gotta try this shit. You gotta just give it. What I do find strange is that maybe someone should have told her. You know, I would hope and think that like you at least practice once or twice in front of people that you trust. You're like, yo, I'm gonna try this thing. Tell me what you think. And then if your people aren't being honest with you and be like, I don't know if that's the thing for this gig. Maybe that's a problem, but it's all good. I mean, like, people got to try different things. You can't do the same thing over and over again. Maybe a bit of an artistic miss, but you showed up, you know, you went to work, you didn't have a great day. That's all. Let's put this one to bed. People need to back off a little bit.
She's surrounded by yes men. So maybe that's the problem. And she'll be better because of it.
I mean, yeah, you're not going to make that decision again. I feel pretty strongly that Fergie will not be using that rendition again.
No, that'll keep probably quite a few people on the straight and narrow for a little while. I bet you we don't get too many artistic renditions for, at least a year or so. People just, get in and get out. You're better off. I mean, it's the thing that if you mess up the anthem, it can only be used against you. You either have to do the anthem incredibly well or bad at all to make news. If you just do it and it's fine and you get it done, you're going to get in and you're going to get out. And that's probably the best thing to do.
Who is the premier top? Who does everyone want to sing the anthem, Greg? Who's everyone's first choice? And I don't know. We're just figuring this out right now.
It's always like a Kelly Clarkson-y kind of a person.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, or like a Christina Aguilera, maybe, because she'll like, do that. Like, it's always those people that are like mainstream enough to be on like a show like The Voice or whatever. Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm thinking. So somebody like that, like Kelly Clarkson, there's no way. I mean, the people are clapping for that all day. People are loving that.
Loud and proud, just kind of like.
That's it.
Right.
Got a great voice, just boom. Everybody can be happy. Nobody can complain. And that takes a lot these days because everybody's looking to complain.
You know who would have killed it and no one would have had a single complaint? Boys to Men. The group Boys to Men.
I know.
Because they're amazing.
Boys to Men. Yeah, so, maybe we'll see them next year because, it's going to be a big Philly year because they won the Super Bowl.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
Before their games next year, I'm sure they're going to be all sorts of Philly people coming out.
God,
Bradley Cooper was in the damn crowd at at the Super Bowl. He was right up sitting next to the owner. So the Philly people were out thick. So
I'm not a Bradley Cooper fan.
I didn't know that.
There's a lot of stuff you don't know about me, Greg.
I'm sure. I heard the other day that Philadelphia's turned into like a real life Silver Linings Playbook, which kind of makes me laugh because it's just like, the whole Eagles thing. It's just, they're just so happy. So
good for them.
Yeah, good for them indeed. And then the game, which I watched most of, and I didn't assume the fourth quarter was going to be as tight as it was, and I went and did some other stuff like an idiot. So I ended up re-watching the fourth quarter, and it was nice to see a good game. They had played defense for not the whole game, but it was a reasonable amount of defense, especially for the All-Star game. It was like intense defense. But then once it got down to the end, it was like, when we were younger. Michael Jordan was not going to play a throwaway game and just not play any defense. I mean, that just wasn't going to happen. So it would tighten up at the end, and guys would actually play and try to win. And it came down to basically the last shot, which is great. And you had Durant and LeBron covering Steph Curry. What more could the NBA ask for with the final play in the All-Star game?
Yep. Close one at the end. No one got hurt. Lots of dunks, lots of oops. So that's a win. That game's a win.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. For the players that played in the game, it was a win, Greg. But some of the players, they felt slighted that they didn't get chose. Snubs, they're called. And there's snubs every year. Some of these guys who feel they're having, breakout years, they don't get picked, and they get a little salty.
I almost feel like they're right. Like there's not enough spots for the amount of good players that there are now.
I mean, what do you want to make the All-Star team like bigger? I mean, no. There's so many guys in the team. The best players make the team.
There were 4 Warriors.
Yeah, well.
I mean, there's 4 great Warriors. I mean, I'm not going to say that they don't deserve to be there, but there's 4 Warriors.
It's a Warriors age we're living in. So
They're
Lou Williams,
hateable.
Greg. Lou Williams of the LA Clippers did not make the All-Star team, although he's having a very good year. But he didn't make it. Jimmy Butler of the Minnesota Timberwolves did make the team, although he did not play. We think because, Minnesota had played the day before the All-Star game. A lot of other teams had not. So it looks like Jimmy just kind of excused himself from playing. Lou Williams didn't like that. He went on Twitter during the game and he directed a message towards Mr. Butler. Said, "You serious, bruh?" ? No. Say a lot of things about our friend Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy don't play these games, Greg. Jimmy is a gamer. Jimmy don't like it when you come at him like that. So Jimmy Butler has put $100,000 bet on the line. $100,000 is what every player on LeBron's team was awarded because they won the game. Prize money, essentially. Jimmy Butler is throwing that $100K on the table and says, "Lou Williams, you think you're an all-star? Come play me. One-on-one. $100,000. What's up?" And that's what's up, Greg. That's what I'm talking about. These guys, too much Twitter bullshit, not enough real-world bullshit. Let them play. Tape it. Air that shit. Let's
Jimmy
go.
Butler doesn't look like a guy that screws around either.
I like Jimmy Butler. I keep liking him more. He keeps doing things that make me like him more. This is dope. I'm fucking one-on-one. Real men money. What are you going to say if you lose, Lou Williams? What are you going to say?
Lou Williams playing real well this season, though.
Could you imagine how great that would be? They're both
That'd
playing
be great one-on-one. Yeah.
And perhaps the universe just didn't like how sweet that sounded, Greg, because it was only yesterday. Jimmy Butler's down. Jimmy Butler is down. He's having an MRI today. We will keep our fingers crossed and hope it is nothing serious.
Well, he's hoping that means Tibbs only play him 40 minutes a game instead of the full 48. So,
yeah, he has been carrying his share of the load over there, to say the least.
Certainly has. All right, we have a story coming up next. We got a little break here, but we got I don't want to call it a fun one coming up next, but Lord knows if I don't love me a story like this. Fall from grace, So we'll be back after this.
When your money's gone, friends have turned you down, and you wander around just like a hound, a lonesome hound. Then you stop to say, "Let me go away from this old town, this awful town." There's a place I know, folks won't pass me by. Dallas, Texas, that's the town I cry. Oh, hear me cry. And I'm going back to stay there till I die. Until I die, I've got the Dallas blues and the Main Street heart disease. It's buzzing round.
Hello, and welcome back to Double Drivel. Thank you for joining us. I am Greg with my co-host JT. You can find us on Twitter at Double Dribblers. And that is the Dallas Blues. And hey JT, what's going on in Dallas that would have them so bluesy? Poor Mark Cuban, huh?
Oh, it's a two-part problem we have in Dallas, Greg. Both parts fairly large. Let's start with the smaller part. So, Mavericks owner Mark Cuban, well-known, outspoken billionaire, he got fined $600,000, Greg, from the NBA for comments he made about his team tanking, which means intentionally losing. And as we know, when you intentionally lose and you have a shit record, you get first dibs at the new flock of players coming in the draft next year. So if your team is shit, you decide you will just not win games intentionally, you're thinking about next year. Now, the NBA hates when teams do this for good reason.
Well, they should stop giving them the incentive to. So, but I'll stay quiet.
I thank you for that. These teams, the NBA hates when teams do this because it's really hard to sell a product that isn't its best version of itself, essentially. So why are fans going to pay tickets to see your team lose? Why would they buy jerseys, the video games, and it goes on and on and on. You want a product that is, valuable and other people see value in it. And when you just lose games, that ain't happening. So this came to light on your favorite podcast, apart from this show, the JJ Redick podcast. Mark Cuban let those things be known, and then everyone.
I appreciate the slander, but it was the Dr. J podcast.
Oh, yes.
Not JJ Redick, but I appreciate you throwing that out there. Dr.
Okay.
J.
Dr. J. JJ, Dr. J. It's confusing.
I could see how you'd be confused. You got JJ on the brain.
So they're not trying to win, and we're not going to pay to watch you play, you fucks. And that's what it is. And you get fined $600,000 for being kind of shady about it. And Greg, this is the least of your problems if you're a Dallas Mavericks fan right now. The least of your problems.
Yep.
Turns out the whole fucking organization has a corrosive workplace culture. Sports Illustrated ran a article, and I see you've created a word here, sex posing. Sex posing, Greg?
Ooh.
Is this your doing? You wrote this word?
I would have thought it would be a sex pose.
Oh, mamma mia, this fucking guy. So, turns out it's, quotes, corrosive workplace culture, a real-life animal house, accusations of public fondling, intimidation from superiors, and more. And this goes all the way to the top. It seems like the president of the Mavericks is the biggest shithead of them all, putting his hands on subordinates' legs. He asked this like this regular ass employee what she was going to be doing this weekend, and she's like, I don't know, just like living a life. And he's like, yeah, I bet you're going to get gangbanged.
Whoa!
The fuck says that? This is the president of your billion-dollar company acting like this, acting like a fucking freshman.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
The fish rots at the head, JT. So that's how that happens,
So, yeah, they all got the Dallas Blues, as they should. I feel bad for the players and the team because in that article, the Sports Illustrated article, the reporters were saying things like being in the locker room and dealing with the players, the interviews after the games, pre-games, which sometimes can be a little tense because the players are, just tired of talking to the media. They said that was probably the easiest part of the job, dealing with the players. It's like once all that stuff was done, then all the bullshit would start with these fucks. So I don't know. They're saying that they might force Mark Cuban to sell the team, which I don't see him letting go of this team. This guy's like always been a passionate owner, always courtside, watching them play, always getting into it with the refs. I would see him fighting tooth and nail to keep this team, but perhaps it's time.
I mean, that's the way that they get rid of you now. I mean, that's, it's not quite what Donald Sterling did, but it's you not having any institutional control. And that's one thing that they always hold people accountable for. And he is a juicy target. He knows that the league hasn't always been a big fan of him because he makes a lot of comments. He's quite mouthy and not always helpful to their cause. So I don't know how it's going to play out, but it's not going to be good for him. And this is only the start of what we're hearing. This is the first report. So now that it's become public, you always get either filler information or you get entirely new stories that come out because now people feel a little more comfortable to speak. So this is probably just the beginning. This is not going to be good. So this is a man who had political ambitions too. Not good.
They said the MO on Mark Cuban is that he is a micromanaging owner, and he has great interest in all levels of the organization, and he is not the kind of owner that kind of works offsite and is not interested. So,
and I believe that because when I look at him, and you tell me if I'm wrong, do you see somebody who wouldn't mind a little ass slapping going on? Because that's what I feel like when I look at the guy. I don't think he's going to complain if there's a little, little foul play happening around the office. I don't see him firing anybody for that, and I guess I'm right.
I mean, I don't know. And that's my point. I can't say that. And I was trying to get to. I want to know what he knew, and is he in the dark as he's kind of saying he is? Which which contradicts the position he took as an owner, which was very involved.
Yeah. So there's another story that we almost forgot about. There's the. I think he is their like social media person or some sort of media person that they employ, like their beat writer or something, like on their website, the Mavericks. 2 domestic violence charges. Like one so bad, I guess the woman also worked at the Mavericks, from what I understand, came in with a black eye. He was not allowed to be around women. He had to sign a contract that he would never be alone with them or this or that or anybody at work. So they were completely aware of things like that even going on. So the president had some crazy shit going on. There was a guy that just worked in their media department that was a nobody that was abusing people that Mark Cuban, apparently they said, took under his wing. So he apparently knew all about that. It's not looking good. If this is really all true and it all ends up, not just being accusations as it stands at this point, that's not good. That's really bad.
That's really bad. Could we see the organization being dissolved in any way, sold to a different state? I know Seattle wants to get their hands on another team, and also Toronto wants a team too.
Toronto has a team. Toronto doesn't need 2 teams.
Pardon me. Apparently there are more than one city in Canada. I mean Vancouver.
Hey. Vancouver wants a city back?
Yeah, they want a team.
City back. They want a team back. We're doing great here. Wow. That's something to think about too. Dallas is a pretty big market. I don't know if you're just going to leave Dallas to go some other place. If some little shit market was having a problem, I'm sure they'd be out, but
you fucked up, Dallas. You lose your shit. That's how it works. You don't get nice things anymore, you fucks.
Wow. Corrosive environment. Sorry, Cuban. I mean, if it's bad enough and enough shit comes out, he's going to be off Shark Tank. I mean, it all starts to fall apart for Mark Cuban.
Yes, sir.
That's no good. Boy. All right. We're going a little long here. You still want to do predictions? Because how about we just keep it easy? Let's do the Mark Cuban future. Is he out or is he in?
Fucking out. You are out, Cuban. Suck it. Fucking out. Just typed it.
I think he rides it out.
You think he rides? You think no penalty other than the fine? No nothing.
Yeah, I think he loses some jobs, maybe this, that. I don't think he loses the team. I think some of his extracurricular stuff goes, but I don't think he loses the team.
All right. Well,
that's
short of just flipping the entire staff, which might not be a bad idea. There needs to be major change there, and in this culture we're living in now, where people are not afraid to speak out when they're being treated shitty, I don't think it's going to end nicely for for the Dallas Mavericks.
There you go. All right. Another great episode there, JT.
You too, my friend. I would love if you could play us out to those sweet Dallas Blues.
We'll play those Dallas Blues for you on the way out. And in the meantime, we're going to be back next week with another episode. And you can follow us on Twitter at Double Dribblers, or you can email us at doubledribblepodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe to the show on iTunes, Podbean, or Google Play. And until next week, we'll see you on the internet.
When your money's gone, friends have turned you down, and you wander around just like a hound, a lonesome hound. Then you stop to say, let me go away from this old town, this awful town. There's a place I know, folks won't pass me by. Dallas, Texas, that's the town I cry. Oh, hear me cry. And I'm going back to stay there till I die. Until I die. I've got the Dallas blues and the Main Street heart disease. It's buzzing round. I've got the Dallas blues and the Main Street heart disease. It's buzzing round my head like a swarm of little